Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Jess.
And today we're talking about Wakanda Forever, Black
Yes.
Panther 2. First one really left this sense of, grandeur, this big feeling of, this was something important. That it kind of just left you waiting to see what happens in number 2.
It's been a while.
It's been so long that, unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman passed. And honestly, a good section of this movie, a good 20 minutes here and there, just revolve around him, even though he's not in the movie or anything.
A lot of the movie, all of Shuri's character development and stuff in this has to do with him, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot more. This is the thing that it got me with this movie. Really, was that it was a lot more mournful than the other Marvel movies, even the ones that were about. Iron Man dying and so on and so on.
Iron Man dying or Black Widow or something, yeah.
Yeah, they those things just kind of happened and they were sad and people grieved. Mm-hmm. But this movie was about mourning. It was weird for a Marvel movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I cried 3 times. I cried 3 times watching this movie. One at the beginning, once near the end, and one at the end. So, I've cried 3 times in it. It definitely made me love M'Baku even more.
Oh, yeah.
I loved him in the first one, but I don't know. He's just the best. Yeah, we'll get there.
I didn't cry in this movie at all. There was a couple moments where I was like, oh, this is genuinely, getting to me. Mm-hmm. But there was a couple moments with M'Baku where I was like, oh no! There was a couple points where my butthole puckered. I was nervous.
Yeah, there was a lot of nerve-wracking moments in this. So I guess we'll get more started than what we already are. The movie Black Panther 2 is about the mourning of T'Challa. I almost forgot his name. Mourning him and finding a new Black Panther, or keeping Wakanda protected and strong, and then some sneaky underwater fellas show up. I say sneaky because they've been hidden for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever found them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Americans obviously want to take down Wakanda. They want their weapons because that's how America is. Mm-hmm. We've been to war because of wanting weapons and stuff.
Yeah. We've been to war for far less than whatever the hell vibranium is.
Yeah, but they find some vibranium in this part of the ocean, and Atlantis, basically.
Yeah. Mexican Atlantis.
They are not okay with that. They need to protect their resources, and so they come to Wakanda to try to make an alliance, but it doesn't work out so well because they butt heads with the scientist who created the machine to find vibranium is just a college kid who was smart enough, and Wakanda does not want to kill her. But the Mayans, the underwater Mayans, they want to kill her because that protects their whole society and way of life.
Mm-hmm. And it just ends up being this really uncomfortable conflict between the people of Wakanda and the people of, it started with a T, right?
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I couldn't figure it out. But I do know that they're Mayan. Mm-hmm. They come from that culture, so.
Yes. Well, either way, it becomes this weird movie of this, not weird, but this uncomfortable conflict of these two extremely powerful and separated cultures that have been protecting themselves, picking a fight with each other to protect themselves. It's weird and was very tense the whole time because it was at any point something bad's gonna really happen. Because they both have mad power.
That's true.
But the Wakandans take on this new character, protect her and help her kind of come into her own, and she helps them in preparations to deal with not Atlanteans. Which at the end of it, it comes down to the usual Marvel big fight with a surprisingly calm resolution. A surprisingly uh, negotiation based ending, which was interesting. Definitely didn't think that was actually going to happen. But I suppose Namor is a good guy in the comics, so they're not going to kill him off like Killmonger.
Yeah. Black Panther does an interesting thing for me where so far all of the villains, well, all of the main villains like Killmonger and Namor are villains. They're doing bad things, but they're not really bad people. Killmonger, he really just wanted, he was just angry. He wanted his people to be stronger, to have the resources to make them better and progress, where it was in Wakanda, that the things he needed was in Wakanda, but they weren't willing to share that. Mm-hmm. And America and the rest of the world weren't doing right by his people, by people of color. And he was upset by it. So he wasn't super angry, he just kind of went about it the wrong way.
Well, he was very angry. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree he definitely was not wrong. Mm-hmm. It was up to the point where it was and then genocide. It's okay, so one step too many.
Yeah. And then Namor, he basically this Mayan deity. He also just wants to keep his family, his culture, his underwater kingdom safe, because he knows that if the people up top, if landlubbers find out that he exists, or that his kingdom exists, they will try to either attack, or they'll try to colonize or something. They will try to invade in one way or another, and he doesn't want that. He wants the peace and the just amazing life that they've had in their kingdom. He wants it to stay as it is. And he's worried about war, or about the resources being taken. And I don't blame him.
Oh, definitely not. Like I said, him and Killmonger have surprisingly similar motivations, to either protect and or uplift their community. Mm-hmm. Just taken to an extreme level, which, considering the circumstances, honestly almost makes sense. But most of all with Namor, I think. Because with him, he's, I don't know what he was, 1,200 years old or something?
He's from the 1500s. So.
Yeah. He's extremely old. Old enough to have seen, smallpox take away the culture that he came from. Mm-hmm. And literally the colonialization destroy a part of the world. So, to understand, they're developing technology that can now let them come to us. Nah. we're gonna hard nope that.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't try to invade Wakanda or anything. Yeah, at first. At first he's why don't we figure this out? You don't want them getting vibranium from Wakanda and getting your technology. I don't want that either. So why don't we work together and just kind of destroy them all?
Which, of course, is where Wakanda, the good guys, called the line. We can't kill all the other countries. Mm-hmm. Which is fair.
And that's honestly, that's where they have their troubles. There's a pickle.
I believe you're going for the word discrepancy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had a lot of trouble lately saying big words. I don't know why.
The funny thing is, some of the big words that you had trouble saying, you've said bigger words.
I don't know, man. Palma Grande. It's just what it is. It's my culture. It's where I've come from. Yeah, and with all of that, they're also dealing with the death of T'Challa, their king, the Black Panther, who keeps Wakanda safe. Other countries are trying to spy on them, try to invade and steal their weapons and their technology. And I mean, they got it on lock.
Oh, yeah.
But they're warrior women and there's no way.
The fact that this whole movie revolves around two cultures who are trying to protect themselves and their like native resources coming out so close to Thanksgiving feels like a thing.
It might be. I mean, it might have been a coincidence, but I don't know. A side note, part of me is always like, should we just like stop celebrating Thanksgiving? Because like at this point, it's just kind of like a celebrate your family thing.
Yeah.
But it does have roots in very awful colonialization and genocide. So.
Yeah. I say we move it back a day and just forget about the first half of it and just like hang out and eat food.
Yeah. How about this? Instead of Thanksgiving being on November 25th, make it November 20 and just call it Thanks Family Day. Thanks Day.
Good Eats Day.
Food Day. Family Day. Or just Remembrance Day. And then we celebrate.
Isn't that a thing?
I don't know, probably for like patriots.
I think that's a holiday.
But we do it for more important people like the Native Americans that we killed.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. Anyway, just making a little comment. I like that it came out so close to Thanksgiving. It was very fun. And the fact that the movie has all this stuff going on, and yet the core of it is still about a girl learning to mourn and grieve and get through depression without understanding what the fuck's going on. Like, that was weirdly powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Shuri that much. She's okay.
She's okay. The things that have come out about the actress herself, it makes it a little harder for me to like her. But I don't know. I didn't mind it. Definitely gave me some gay vibes.
Oh yeah, her and the new character.
Ironheart.
Yeah, Ironheart.
It doesn't give her real name or her character name.
It just says Ironheart.
It just says Ironheart.
Oh jeez. Yeah, well, like, here's the thing. Her actress, like, she said some dumb shit. Seems like she's probably an anti-vaxxer or something, so, like, not great. But literally not the worst. It could be infinitely worse. My biggest thing with Shuri is that her whole character kind of revolves around, like, and don't get me wrong, she is...
her name was Riri.
She is smarter than pretty much everyone around her. Like, that's just kind of what she is. But because her character is deliberately written to be kind of a younger person, her being, hyper intelligent and kind of being snarky and whatever comes off as just so tiresome.
That's because she's a teenager.
I know, it is so...
I mean, she might not be at this point, but like, she does seem like an 18-year-old or like a college-aged kid who is still finding themselves and growing. So the fact that she's like super annoying about being smart makes sense. Yeah.
So, like, I'm not saying she did a bad acting job. I'm just saying, like, the character is in and of herself kind of annoying. But, like, she is cool. Like, don't get me wrong. She's incredibly interesting.
Also, Shuri had some tension with Namor. At least I thought. Maybe it's just me.
No. Look, when Namor had her underwater, he was putting on the charm.
He really was. I think he was putting on the charm to try to persuade her, but it didn't work. They had such a civilized conversation, and they were so casual about things, and he was just like, we want the same things, the safety of our countries, and let's just, let's do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to destroy everything. And she was like, did you just threaten me? And yes, he was threatening her, but it was so, like casual and like just they passed it by so quickly. It was so funny.
It was the most civil threat ever. It wasn't just like a small threat. He was like, "I'll burn down your whole country." Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty great. Like, cause they did seem to have a mutual admiration for each other.
Yeah, I think I think that definitely comes down to like the fact that Namor is to this civilization what her brother was, you know?
And she did seem to admire what he had done for that country, and she really seemed to like think it was a beautiful place and like felt for the people who lived there.
Yeah, it was wet Wakanda. Like it was so akin to what is her home. Like she understands what he's fighting for. So like it's hard to hate that when you understand who he is like that.
Yeah, I mean she tries to make things better, but then her mother sends in T'Challa's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, spy girl.
Yeah, she sends in a spy to rescue Shuri, and it just ends in war because underwater mines end up dead.
Yeah, and like it's like yeah, she fucked up with the killing and the stuff. And she should have at least let Shuri try to heal her. But like none of that was uncalled for. Like their princess was kidnapped. They were saving someone. Like it all made sense, and none of it seemed like out of like left field aggressive. So like it was. I feel like in a lot of movies there are points where they're trying to like escalate a situation where things will be like, why the fuck would you do that? Like why? And it's like, no, I get why. That was your daughter. You gotta go. And that's the thing about this movie that felt so weird to me was that nothing seemed crazy over the top.
Yeah, it was all understandable.
Which is so
like, the motives behind everything is even though this is a superhero movie, everything is very relatable in some way.
Also, side note, the cape that Namor wore when he was talking to Shuri, the big golden thing with I love that. That's it. I really liked it. I like Namor. He was great.
Yeah, Namor was stylish.
He was stylish. Never wore pants.
He's underwater. You can just swim with pants on?
No. I respect it. I love it. I wish I could never wear pants. Shorts all day, every day.
We talked about this earlier.
Yes, we're relocating to Arizona.
Only in my dreams, I guess. So yeah, a lot happens in this other than, Shuri finally mourning T'Challa. Unfortunately, the Queen of Wakanda passes as well.
Yeah.
Namor, he wrecks things a little bit when he shows up to Wakanda. If it weren't for him backing off, I'm pretty sure he could have wiped out Wakanda.
Yeah, they were not ready for a fight at that moment.
No. Especially not a tsunami.
Right.
Which is basically what happened.
Yeah. It was interesting to see, especially since Wakanda has been built up to be this, like, not just global superpower, but this, like, beyond superpower, something untouchable that even the United States and other actual, human civilization or real life human civilization can't touch them. And then out of nowhere comes these people who just wipe the floor with them. It really set attention to it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't expect there to be a kingdom of underwater people. They didn't have their Aquaman yet. Now they do.
Yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Also, like even when he was doing bad things, Namor always seemed kind of like,
I told you.
Yeah, like he was always very forward. Like, hey, don't fuck with us. We will hurt you. All right, you fucked with us. Like, I'm gonna hurt you now.
Yeah, and he was like, well, you're queen now, so you can make the choices. Now you can make the choice that is right for both of us. Yeah, it was also pretty cool to see the new character of Riri Williams. You kind of... it's not hard to figure out who she's going to be. But at first she, you just think she's a really smart college scientist, or mechanic or whatever you want to call it. Just a very smart lady. But then they're fleeing from the American government, and she jumps into a giant metal suit, and it's like, we understand. Number 2.
Yeah.
But Ironheart, not Iron Man.
Yes. Yeah, because she is not a man.
Not a man.
Although I do love that in that scene where they're about to get chased by the police, she puts on her suit. And you can hear in the background one of the cops saying, "Oh, she's got an Iron Man suit." Like, they just understand, like, "Oh no, let's back the fuck."
Yeah, an Iron Man suit. Yeah. Well, I imagine that after his passing, his suits just are now in a government facility.
Mm-hmm. I can't. No, maybe, but I feel like Pepper has to have them, right?
I don't know. They're also weapons of mass destruction.
That's true. Maybe they're locked. No one can get into them.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was really cool to see the different cultures and the struggle they had with the landlubbers, or, the people on land, or the people around them, trying to basically just colonize them. Take what they have for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
White people.
Land people, baby.
Land people. I think some of my favorite parts were big fight scenes. Like, I really loved the end fight scene with Namor and Shuri. That was pretty epic.
That was definitely one of the highlights, especially the ending, of course.
Mm-hmm.
One scene that was I think, possibly my favorite. Oh, one of the opening scenes with the Queen.
Yeah.
In the UN or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Where she just fucking spat in their faces.
Yeah. They're basically saying the whole time, like, okay, under their breath, they're like, okay, well, the king's dead, so let's give it to him. And so when she comes in, they're like, all right, Miss Queen of Wakanda. I feel bad, I don't remember her name. But they're like, you have one of the most powerful countries in the world. Ramonda, that's her name. Queen Ramonda has the most powerful country in the world. Mm-hmm. And they know that she has, weapons and vibranium, and why doesn't she give the vibranium to other countries to help them? She's just probably, making the weapons herself so she can wage war on the rest of them and all that stuff. And she just is like, you know what? Just because the king is dead, just because the Black Panther is not alive right now, doesn't mean you guys can walk all over us. We are still incredibly powerful. And you should back off a little. And if you try to invade our country, it will mean war, and we will wipe you out.
Yeah.
And they're immediately, pooping in their pants.
And there's this whole, pretend, there's a moment where they're just pretending, we would never do anything like that. We never try to take from blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. We're doing civilized things, which apparently, whatever. And then she's like, bullshit. Here's 10 of your guys who invaded our country on your orders. Mm-hmm. Here you go. We didn't kill them. You're welcome.
Yep. The warriors walk in, Okoye with her staff, and those dumb idiots with their hands behind their back. It's a pretty great scene. It's really like a screw you sort of deal, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Even though the story was, very heavily surrounding Shuri mm-hmm. and her process, and also her coming to, power and mm-hmm. all that. What was her name?
Okoye?
Yeah, Okoye. Had her own arc in this that was honestly very sad. I think the scene with her and the Queen was the one that almost made me cry. Really, it was. And just watching her fight so hard to protect these people who she considers basically family,
Mm-hmm.
even though because of things that have happened, she's almost shunned and disowned by these. It was rough. It was cool. I like seeing the whole thing.
When Shuri gets kidnapped by Namor, the Queen Ramonda lays into Okoye. She's like, "You said you were protecting my daughter. You took her on that mission, convinced me it was okay, and now she's kidnapped. You are no longer general.
Yeah.
You can leave right now. Give me your staff. Leave." And Okoye gets on her knees and begs to make it right. And the queen says no, so she has to walk away and let somebody else take care of this mess that she kind of made.
Yeah.
And it's rough. It's hard.
It definitely had this sense of like, because like she brought Shuri along because she wanted to help Shuri. Like it was all done in good faith and good spirit, and no one expects Atlanteans to come out and punch you with a whale.
Yeah, because they had a deal. They had a deal that they would find the scientists and bring them to the Atlanteans, the Mayans. But then the Mayans just show up anyway, and it's like, well, you gotta give us a second. We gotta get her to you. But instead, they attack.
Mm-hmm. So like, it wasn't like she was being too reckless or anything. So like, seeing this was difficult, but it really reminded me of like a sibling, like an older sibling trying to take their kid sibling out to help them experience the world, to get some more time away from the family so they can grow in their own self, and then something bad happening and just the family devastating them. It felt right. to like, in terms of the movie, like it was good to watch.
Yeah, it was very good. I think the end fight, I really liked that. But the other part that I really, really, really liked was when Shuri went to, she finally figured out how to create one of the flowers.
Oh yeah.
And she eats it, or drinks it rather, and she goes into like the spirit realm, and she's supposed to see her ancestors. So you're expecting her dad or some strange, I guess, CGI'd version of T'Challa, and I was really worried because I thought they were gonna do that, make a computerized T'Challa, try to make him look real, but they did even better. Even I do believe that Chadwick Boseman is an amazing actor, and I think this movie did really well by him. If he were still alive, I think that this scene still would have been amazing, because Killmonger shows up, and it was so quiet in the theater, and I just made the grossest sound. Because it was a little unexpected and fun, and he shows up and he's like, "So are you like your brother? Are you gonna be noble, or are you gonna be like me and get stuff done?" And it's so good. And when she comes to, she gets her powers, but she's not willing to tell anyone who she saw in the ancestral realm because she's kind of embarrassed, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not just the dark sheep. He's literally on a different farm. Like
yeah, like she's embarrassed that she didn't see her brother or her dad, but she's also, I think, hurt that she didn't see them because she was really hoping to see them one more time. She wasn't able to see T'Challa as he passed. She was in her laboratory trying to fix him. So I think it was a little bit of that as well.
Also, the fact that he was, still confident that he was right after all of that. Fucking love that.
I swear. It's so good.
After dying and going through all that shit, he was just like, well, I mean...
Michael B. Jordan is fantastic. And Killmonger is an amazing character. He's so fun. He's a villain, but he's so fun.
His relentless confidence is inspiring.
Yes. But yeah, earlier on I said that this movie also made me like M'Baku even more. In the first movie, you get to see that he's just this like goofy, big, strong man who runs the gorilla tribe, and then in this one, you also get to see like a softer side to him a little bit, and he tries to be like this older brother figure to Shuri and help her on her path, and because he told T'Challa that he would try to keep her safe, and it's really cool to see, especially at the end where, if I'm not mistaken, he becomes king of Wakanda.
I believe so.
Which is freaking amazing because, you know, Queen Ramonda isn't around anymore, and Shuri goes to Haiti because she needs time. And she needs time to mourn and to figure things out. And he's just like, what I've always wanted. What I have literally always wanted.
Yes, I'm down for M'Baku being in charge of all this shit.
I think he'll be, honestly, a very good king.
And they're growing more of that plan, so maybe he'll be the new Black Panther or another Black Panther. Which is weird, because like the reason it's called Black Panther is because it's the Panther like group that is in control. Because each one is like has a different animal or different figure, different, you know, whatever symbol. And theirs is a panther, which is why they're the Black Panther. If his is a gorilla, would he be...
He might be.
A black gorilla, which sounds extremely racist.
It sounds very racist.
Definitely should not be the name of that hero.
I just call him M'Baku.
Just call him M'Baku. It's just my name.
But that'd be really cool to see him with that sort of strength, that power.
Because like, of all of the tribes in that community, his is the one that's like, yeah, but my armor is just wood, and I'm just gonna hit you with a big stick because fuck you. Like,
yeah, he doesn't want any of that new technology,
which is so weird. It's very unexpected. That because they're one of the strongest ones, right? And yet they're it's interesting. I don't know. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I also like that he's kind of a big dum dum. You know, personality wise, he's meant to be sort of like a himbo. But in this movie, he's like, yeah, guys, why the fuck would we try to fight this fish man? This is a dumb idea.
Yeah, like, he's just like, we should just kill him.
Yeah, he's laying out true facts. Is it the smartest thing? I don't know. We'll figure it out later. But, like, he's not wrong.
Yeah. But in the end, Shuri almost kills Namor. And then she's like, but... Killmonger. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll be more like my brother, or like find my own self and be more like myself. You know, like she doesn't want to be like her brother or like Killmonger. She wants to be her own, be on her own path. And she decides to make some sort of like truce with Namor and work together.
Yeah. And
she's like, okay, so I let you live. Wakanda will protect you. But you don't attack anyone.
Yeah, we're not going to war. This is just we'll help each other if things go bad. And I don't know, the fact that the ending of this movie was, you know, came down to negotiation and like actual peace collaboration. Like that was unexpected in a Marvel movie. Like it's
however, Mayan Hermes does at the end decide to be a little bit more evil.
Oh yeah.
And he's like his I'm assuming his love interest in his kingdom. Her name is Namor. So, I mean, that's a little weird, but...
A little on the nose.
that's what her name is. She's like, how could you? Like, I thought you were strong. I thought you were going to protect us. How could you make a deal, let them live after they, you know, hurt us so bad? And he's like, well, they are the most powerful country on Earth, or on land. And so, if anything happened, excuse me, you know, they would have each other's back. So, like...
Yeah, it definitely gave off some, like, everything went according to plan vibes, you know? It was very good.
That way, you know, if anything happened to Namor's kingdom, he could just be like, "Hey, Wakanda! Oh, they're hurting us! Help!" Even if he might have made the problem. Or someday, if Wakanda needed help, they would go to like their one ally, because everybody else is scared of them, which would be Namor.
And he's more than willing to fight. No, yeah, that ending with his like, I don't know, he had almost like this smile to him, like, no, everything this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Like, goddamn, guy.
You know, it might not be exactly what he wanted, but he's being optimistic. he's a glass half full kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, he got the alliance he wanted, I guess.
I also want to say that every time he came out of the water, it was like a James Bond moment. He really was like a James Bond girl. It was amazing.
Yeah, just slicking the hair back.
I was taken. I was taken by Namor.
Literally, the only thing was the silly wing feet.
Yeah, the wing feet was weird. And when he fought Shuri, like, she would go to town on him, and he'd be fine. But then she hurts his wing foot, and that is immensely painful. And it's very like Achilles Hermes vibes for me. But I mean, mythology overlaps so much.
Yeah, especially with like comic books, they take so much inspiration from like older myths that it's just like, well, it makes sense that his one weakness would be the tiny little wings fluttering at his feet.
It's so silly, but the rest of them's really cool.
Also, his kryptonite in this ended up being getting dry.
Yeah, being too hot. He can't go to the desert.
No, not a bad day for him. Any other like major scenes or moments that you want to talk about before we give some ratings?
Maybe the very end where Shuri has a moment of like remembrance for T'Challa and gets to meet her nephew.
Yes. The brightest ending the movie could have possibly had. It was very much a setup. Not saying that they're going to involve the kid in any real movies or any real plot points, but just the idea of like, there's more to come. There is legacy and potential and history to be made. That was
Nakia. That's her name.
Yes.
That was pretty cool because I don't exactly remember the name of the fake name that Nakia introduced her son with, but then he's like, my real name is Prince T'Challa of Wakanda, and it's very like, like of course you are. That's amazing. It's awesome that even though T'Challa has passed, he has this legacy, and Nakia and his son were able to mourn him, and like for some reason kept secret that he existed. But
well, I mean, he is a tiny child, and the
probably
prince
would get kidnapped.
Yeah, the prince of the most powerful country in the goddamn world.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of weird responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's get down to the rating.
Yes. So I believe we usually break this down into vibe, skill, and messaging, like purpose. Vibe, I mean, the style of Namor alone is giving this an 8, and then the fucking fight scenes and just the general sense and look of everything, at least a 9. I'm giving it a 9. That's my score.
I would let Okoye
split
me with his staff.
So that's a M rating right there.
So I would give it a 10. But yeah, I always love a Black Panther movie. I think out of all of the Marvel movies I have watched, they are probably in my top.
It's very unique, the like future Afro style of Wakanda in general.
And it's also just very beautiful. You don't see a lot of like mainstream, very popular movies that are like African or really steeped in Black culture, and I don't know, it's very interesting for me anyways, and nice to see.
Skill wise, so acting, writing, the whole gambit. I think for me this one's a little hard because I feel like despite everything, the movie was amazing, but it felt really slow. Something in the pacing felt off.
I don't know about that. Maybe because it was trying to go at the pace of Shuri's mourning. I don't know.
I mean, it's very possible. And like that would make sense. I'm not saying it would and doesn't. I'm just saying that like for me it just felt a little stumbly on the pacing. It's still amazing. Like I'm gonna go with an 8 for skill because like all of the acting was still impeccable.
I'm gonna go with a 10.
Of course.
I really like this movie.
And purpose, messaging, and whatnot. This one, it might be my 10, I think, because everything had its own meaning. Everything had its own purpose. The movie was about Shuri's mourning, but it was also leading up to this larger scope idea of hope, of potential, of the future, which is the thing we want from a Marvel movie is always what's next. That's the whole point of this continuing universe, and to have what's next be literally anything, I think was more impactful than just what's next. Harry Styles in a space suit. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I think with purpose they really hit it, and with messaging and meanings, like again the fact that this was a movie about landlubbers trying to force these cultures to give up their natural resources, causing these actively minority cultures to fight each other instead. And
it's like real life.
Yeah. And go figure. And then their whole resolution being, hey, let's fucking not. Let's just fucking not hate each other right now.
Yeah, let's try to work together.
Again, ends on this...
To defeat the landlubbers.
Again, ends on this incredibly hopeful message. Not counting Namor's sinister schemes. So, yeah, messaging and purpose. That was going to be my 10.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 10 all across.
Of course.
Why are you laughing? Why? Why are you laughing? It was a good movie. I don't have any, deep thoughts about the cinematography or anything, so I'll give it a 10.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I just think it was one of those things where I was like, oh, this is going to get a 10 across the board from you. I just kind of knew it in my heart. Because you liked it. That's fine. It's fair. And you're right.
I cried 3 times. Made a weird, ugly sound, and was aroused. A 10 all across the board.
Alright, that's a 9.5 from us, folks.
It would have a 10, but Ali is a coward.
I am not a coward. I have feelings, and I'm gonna keep those feelings. Thank you. Men deserve the right to feel their feelings in this world.
Well, sometimes those feelings are wrong, though. They need to be bottled. You need to bottle that up.
You hear that, man? Bottle your feelings. Anyways, solid 9.5 out of 10 from us. It was a great movie. You should definitely watch it. I know that there's been some, people have been not loving it super much. That was a weird way to say that. It hasn't been the most popular. And I think that's just because they're comparing it to the more, action-packed number one.
We've been doing that.
And, this is not supposed to... This was not meant to be the action-packed one. This is not meant to be the explosive one.
Even with the most recent Thor, it's all of that lead up, all of that action has happened. So now we need to have lead up again. Yeah. So, these are basically Thor 1 now, and Black Panther 1 now. So, you can't always just expect constant greatness. I mean, these are great movies, but, constant action, you know?
Yeah, they have to go through these, character moments. They have to develop reason and a purpose, and they have to have, I don't know, a reason to do literally anything.
Yeah, they have to build storylines again.
They can't just immediately jump into like, all right, here's the Conqueror.
Yeah.
What's his name? Kong. That's his name, right? From the Loki show.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he's gonna be the next Thanos, I'm pretty sure. So like, the fact that people are, fussing about it is insane. Like, come on.
Yeah. At this point, Marvel is its own sentient being, and people just worship it. I need to chill out.
For real. But yes, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you for listening. I hope you got the chance to watch the movie before you heard us spoil everything. And I hope you agree with us because we're right, of course. So, see you next time.